Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my non-spoiler review of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. The third film in this new series of Star Wars films that have divided many Star Wars fans, to say the least. Certainly after Star Wars The Last Jedi, many fans were very divided on that film, and it certainly caused a bit of a stir when it was released. However, I reviewed that film when it came out. I actually quite enjoyed that film. I've just watched The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi immediately before going to see Rise of Skywalker, because I went to see this film with my wife, and so my wife had not seen the previous two. So we watched them in sequence leading up to The Rise of Skywalker, and I've got to say, I still enjoyed both of them films immensely, as did the rest of us. So The Rise of Skywalker then, J.J. Abrams had a huge task on his hands. How was he going to successfully conclude this trilogy of films that would tie off all these stories, all these characters, and give their arcs an end, a satisfying end, and also the more impossible task would be to please the Star Wars fan base as a whole. He was never ever going to do that, to say the least. But I think what J.J. Abrams has delivered here, I think, is a really good attempt to finish this trilogy of films. I absolutely had a blast watching this at the cinema. I think it's the best of the three. I think he's tried to appease the fans with some really nice emotional highs in the film, and some nice fan service, and some nods to obviously long-term fans of the films, and he's also had to try and, in some ways, gloss over a lot of the issues that many fans have with these trilogy of films, especially after the last one, The Last Jedi. And not that he's necessarily ignored many of the events in The Last Jedi, because he couldn't, but this film for me felt more of a sequel to The Force Awakens than The Last Jedi. There were elements in this film, we got an answer as to who Rey's parents are in this film, but I thought we got the answer in the last film, and I was okay with that. We got an answer as to who Snoke is, or was, in this film. Is that going to satisfy some people? I was okay with the explanation, and let's be honest, this isn't a spoiler here. Palpatine turns up in this film. Was I happy with how he turned up? Yes and no. I thought it was nice to see him back in the films, and the explanation they give in the fact that he was in the background pulling the strings all along was okay. I get it. And essentially, a lot of the issues that people have with this film is its story is pretty nondescript, really, and essentially it's just a case of they have to go to this place to try and find this thing, and talk to this person to get to this other place to find this thing, and it's a very simple plot, but I'm okay with that. What I really liked about this film is the fact that they were all together for much of this film. And I really liked that unity, and that sense of camaraderie, and a sense of fun at times, because it was funny, this film, but not in an awkward way like some people had an issue with The Last Jedi. The comedy that was in that, it felt a bit awkward. Well, I thought that it was very natural in this film, the comedy. I thought how they finished off Princess Leia's story, I thought they did a really good job, when you consider that they had to use already filmed things that was done for the last film to include her into this film. So I thought they did a really good job with that. It felt fairly seamless. I wasn't the ending. I enjoyed the ending overall, but there are aspects of it that I prefer. I wished we'd got a little bit of a different outcome. But I'm not going to stamp my feet and have a paddy about it, because it didn't give me what I wanted necessarily the whole film. I think this film actually did a really good job, and it's loads of fun. It's action packed, it's non-stop pretty much. Again, many people's complaints with the last one, it was too slow paced, too long, not enough happened in it, and I get that. I kind of agree to a certain degree with the last one. It was certainly slower paced, and there wasn't as much in action in it. Certainly this and The Force Awakens, especially this. But I really appreciated the fast pace with this one. I love the fact that the characters were all together and they were really bouncing off each other. I really like that. And again, people complained that the characters, you never felt like they were a trio because they were never really together. Well, that wasn't, even in Star Wars, that wasn't the same. For much of the film in Star Wars, they only found Leia when they got on the Death Star, and Empire Strikes Back, Luke was on doing his Jedi training with Yoda for much of that film. So yeah, they weren't necessarily together in all the original films either. So they've got to. In this one, the fact that they were all together really helped the film, I think, for much of it. There were some nice new additions. There was a lovely, cute new little droid that I thought was fun. A couple of new characters that were added that didn't feel forced. Like some characters, and certainly in The Last Jedi, there was a couple of characters that you felt was just pried in there for no reason, like the Code Breaker, and you could argue even Rose, who had a lesser role in this film. I think JJ has delivered here a really entertaining Star Wars film that it's no surprise that there are many people sounding off on YouTube and the internet because it didn't necessarily give them what they wanted. Well, boo-hoo. From my perspective, they were never ever going to satisfy everybody, and this film really satisfied me. I was genuinely happy overall, and it's Star Wars, it's not Shakespeare. What do you want, whatever route they'd have gone down, they wouldn't have pleased everybody. So the route they went down, I was very happy with. I thought the performances were all great. I really liked Oscar Isaacs in this one. I thought it was a really strong part in this one. I thought Daisy Ridley did really well. John Boyega had a much better role in this one than the last one. More to do. So yeah, I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. I was thoroughly entertained with it, and I really enjoyed it. And I think in time, these new series of films, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker, I think in a few years will be looked upon as very good additions to the Star Wars franchise. So that is my review for The Rise of Skywalker. Go out and see it. I'm sure you're going to anyway if you're fans of Star Wars. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I'll see you next time for more reviews on Screen Stars.